Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today I'm all excited. I've seen so many orchids. So I'm at Palmer Orchids in Bradenton, Florida, and they have just a great collection of all different types of orchids here. I've spent most of the day here with the plant propagator Junior, my daughter, and we've been going through and looking at everything. I've spent some time talking with Rob and Ashley. Tristan showed me around. Got a lot of stuff. It's been just great. There's really a variety of different orchids. There's a lot of Brassavola hybrids, Cattleyas, got the Vanda House, dens, phals. There's a whole variety of different orchids that are here. It really is a great facility, and these plants really look nice. So they're trying some standard orchid potting formulations, some standard things, but there's also some really interesting alternate forms that are here as well, potting media. So they're trying things with tree fern and other types of things. So it's really been interesting looking to see what they have. One thing I do want to bring up to you is, I'm looking here, I wrote it down, November 18th, 19th, and 20th. They have their open house here at Palmer Orchids, and come here and take a look. Again, Bradenton, Florida. It's a great facility. The plants look really good. There's a lot of plants here that they're tested, they're clean. It all looks really good. They're really conscientious about the plants and the quality of plants that they have. You can find some really unusual plants here, some unique crosses, and it really is a nice collection of different orchids. So with that, what I want to do is get behind the camera and show you some of the orchids that are around here. There's not a huge amount that are blooming. I set up here where there are a lot, of course, of blooming orchids. But you go through there's a lot of them, and like I said, they look really good. So like I said, what I want to do is get behind the camera and show you some of the different orchids that they have. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, I thought we would start out in the Vanda House. And there's a lot of Vandas here, and they look really good. So they're blooming. A lot of these are blooming nicely. They certainly put the closer ones. So as you look down, I guess I should show you, and we can look down one of the rows of Vandas. And they put, I guess the blooming plants are close to the end of the row, so you don't have to go too far. But there's still, you look down there, there's still a lot of blooming Vandas pretty much everywhere. And they're in they're pretty good shape. These are nice looking Vandas, just a good variety of different types. And I'm sorry, I don't know my Vandas that well, but beautiful flowers and in great shape as we look down this row here. But just the variety of Vandas and Vanda flowers and colors and fragrances are, it's kind of what you get with Vandas, and it's all pretty special. Okay, so we're just going to go down a little bit further here, and then take a little turnaround and come back the other way. But like I said, a variety. Look at all these red, look at all these nice red Vandas here, flowering nicely. I stopped when I came through here earlier. I stopped, and there is I should show you. I always like showing you the good discounted stuff. So these are, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So those are $15 top cuttings, and there's not too many different Vanda types. So these are they just hack the top of the plants off, and these are some of their real vigorous growers. So $15 for a big plant, and those are probably going to do quite well. But as we look into, here's more of the Vandas here. Just really nice flowers. I'm I was here, and maybe it's not the right type of the day, but I'm into fragrance, gardening and fragrance Vandas, and not too many of these guys. Oh my gosh, look at this flower. Not too many of these guys, what I was saying is not too many of these guys are fragrant, except for this guy right here. And this is just, you know, even this time of day, and it's hot. It's I think it's about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and these two guys stood out because of their fragrance. So these are nicely fragrant, and let's see if I can get a tag here so that you can see what they are. Maybe not. Okay, well, I'll find it and then post it if that wasn't clear. But these two are just nicely fragrant. But as you look back down the row, you know, there's just, you know, these are Vandas. They're just big and beautiful. Just a whole variety of colors and venation and spotting and everything that you can have on these things, right? And that's just the Vanda House. So lots of nice plants here, but I still struggle growing Vandas. I talked to the folks here. Look at that one. Wow. Oops, sorry. What a nice flower. I still struggle, and I asked the folks here, why am I struggling? And they tell me, oh, how often are you watering? And I tell them 4 times a week, and they say, oh, not enough. So maybe every day on some of these guys, they need to be watered. But these plants look really good. You take a look, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but you take a look at their roots. And so the root tips and how, I don't know if you can see that well, how green they are, that means healthy, happy Vandas that'll make flowers like that. Anyway, all right, so let's just more, they're all over the place here, and their Vandas are really pretty special, and they're the variety and the color and the size and the patterns is really phenomenal. And I don't know, I guess I'm a little disappointed that I can't grow them very well. I can grow the plants, I just can't get them to flower, which, you know, you want with orchids. Anyway, so I'm coming back to where I started in the Vanda House, and we're going to go over to one of the other houses where I'll show you some of the Cattleyas and some of the other orchids out there. Okay, so let's take a look at the other house. Okay, so we are now in the Cattleya house, and there's a little bit of background noise in here because of the fans that were blowing. I'm actually standing right next to the fan, one of the fans. But these are, I mean, it's nice here because they do put the flowering orchids right at the end of the row, so you don't have to really see, you don't have to go in there too far to see some of the different flowering plants that are there. But a real nice variety. I did talk with Rob and Ashley about the type of orchids that they're looking for, and they tend to like, or they say that the customers tend to like those that are, you know, with a little bit of yellow or orange in them, and just a variety of different colors, but, you know, multiple flowers on the plants are useful. So that's kind of the direction that I want to take my breeding program. And one of the ideas behind me coming here was to ask them and talk to them about what type of orchids they were looking for down the road that I could potentially use and that I could generate for them down the road, and even even buy some of the interesting species that may be a useful starting point, which I've done. I've got my pile of orchids down the row here, So they're starting with some species or unusual types that are good in making these hybrids, but just really a whole variety of different. And I hope I'm really right in a wind stream here. I'm hoping it's not going to sound too bad. I'm trying to protect my microphone from the fans. But just again, a whole variety of different orchid types here. What I'm going to do, we'll get away from the wind a little bit, and I'll go down the row here. But what you can see is how nice the plants look in here in this row, but as well as in all of the all of the plants here look just really vigorous and nice. I'm going to stop and just show you, if I can, on some of the really the way to tell how these plants are growing is to take a look at the root systems. And you can see here on the base of this Cattleya, you can see the root system and how well it's doing here. But when you take a look at all the plants, as you look around here, you can see the nice root systems that are growing on these plants and going through here, another nice root. So that, the tops, most people are looking at the tops of the plants and the flowers, but you can tell, looking around here, there's not too many flowers, at least on many of these plants. And the flowers are going to show up in the pictures that are above the plants, and we've seen things like this before. As you go over here, there's more of the, so that's what it's going to look like. But then you have to look at the base of the plant, and the roots are the giveaway for the health of these plants. And the roots that I'm seeing on these plants they're looking pretty good. And I don't know if you can be able to see it back in there. They just look there. And again, that's how you got to judge what's going on here, is how the roots look. So this kind of gives you an overview of the Cattleya house. They do have a lot of nodosa, Brassavola nodosa, and nodosa crosses in here. And these are all different Cattleyas. Oh, I gotta show you this. There's this huge bloom spike coming out on this plant right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I'm zoomed all the way in. But it just kind of caught my eye. Here's another, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this either. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. But there was oh man, it's going to be hard to find. It's easy to see with my eyes, but there was a big flower spike, or flower, that's right there. There's a big flower coming out on this. But the plants here, what I wanted to convey is that the plants all here they're really good. Orchid Festival coming up at their open house coming up in a few weeks at the end of November. And if you all come out here and take a look at it, the prices that I saw, at least on the seedlings, is pretty reasonable. So come out here. It's a nice place. If you like orchids, it's a nice place to visit and pick up some plants. So that's all I have for today. If you liked what you see and you want to keep on seeing my videos, it would help me out if you can click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And let's see if I can find this. There we go. Final picture of from far away of some orchids blooming. And happy propagating.